You owe it to you. 3 simple words, but they carry the weight of a lifetime. Every dream you've ever ignored, every promise you broke to yourself, every day you settled when your heart whispered for more, it's all here, waiting for you to finally listen. The world will try to convince you that your worth is measured by followers, status, or validation. But the truth? Your value has always been inside you, waiting for recognition, not permission. You wake up every day and hand pieces of yourself to everything around you, to work, to people, to expectations. But when was the last time you gave a piece to your own growth? You owe it to you to reclaim that energy. You owe it to you to stop apologizing for wanting more. Because wanting more doesn't mean you're ungrateful, it means you're alive. Life doesn't hand you clarity, it demands that you fight for it. And 2025 is the year to stop waiting for the right time. There is no right time. There is only now, this moment, this breath, this chance to look in the mirror and say, I'm not done yet. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be honest. You just need to begin. Every time you ignore that inner voice, you shrink. Every time you step toward your truth, you expand. And expansion is messy, it stretches you, it scares you, it exposes your insecurities, but it's also where you find your power. You've survived every version of yourself so far, imagine what happens when you stop surviving and start creating. Nobody's coming to fix your life. Nobody owes you closure, apology, or permission. The responsibility is yours. But that's not a punishment, that's freedom. Because once you realize you're the author, you can start rewriting the story. You can choose who you become from this day forward. The mirror doesn't lie. It reflects your effort, your excuses, your truth. And when you finally look past the reflection and into your eyes, you'll see the fighter who made it this far. You'll see proof that you're capable. You'll see that spark that's been waiting for you to light it again. You owe it to that version of yourself, the one who refused to quit when life broke you. Stop giving your power away to fear. Fear will tell you that you're not ready. It will whisper that you're not enough. But fear is just a liar with good timing. You don't need courage to start, you need to start to find courage. The moment you move, you silence the doubt. The moment you take action, fear loses its voice. Most people will never understand the quiet battles you fight. The mornings you rise with a heavy heart but still choose discipline. The nights you question everything but still prepare for tomorrow. That's the grind nobody claps for, the unseen effort that shapes greatness. You owe it to you to keep going when the world stops watching. Your dreams aren't random, they're reminders. They're signals from the future calling you to evolve. Every setback, every delay, every no has been part of your training. The universe didn't reject you, it refined you. It prepared you for a version of success that requires strength you couldn't have built any other way. This is your year to move with intention. To stop living on autopilot. To stop letting distractions dictate your destiny. The world will always try to pull your focus outward, to noise, to comparison, to instant gratification. But fulfillment doesn't live out there, it lives in the moments you show up for yourself, even when no one's watching. You owe it to you to build a life that feels good on the inside, not just looks good on the outside. You owe it to you to stop pretending, to stop performing, to start living. Because authenticity will cost you people, but it will return you to yourself. You've been through enough to know that strength isn't loud. Strength is quiet. It's the calm decision to rise again after you fall. It's the grace you give yourself when you're learning. It's the patience to rebuild, even when progress feels invisible. Real power doesn't announce itself, it grows in silence. This is your reminder that every small step matters. Every day you choose growth over comfort, you build momentum. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you build trust with yourself. And that trust, that's the foundation of confidence. Confidence isn't born, it's built through consistency. So when life tests you, and it will remember this, pressure doesn't destroy diamonds, it creates them. The resistance you feel is proof that you're evolving. The discomfort means you're stretching beyond your limits. You owe it to you to keep pushing through the resistance, because the other side of pain is purpose. The world will try to make you forget who you are. Don't let it. Protect your energy. Guard your focus. Choose your environment like your future depends on it, because it does. You can't bloom in soil that doesn't nourish you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who remind you of your worth, who push you to be better. And if you can't find them, become that person yourself. This isn't about being better than anyone else, it's about being better than who you were yesterday. Growth isn't a competition, it's a commitment. A commitment to show up, even when you don't feel like it. A commitment to learn, even when it's uncomfortable. A commitment to keep your promises to yourself, especially when no one's keeping score. You owe it to you to forgive yourself for the mistakes, for the missed chances, for the times you didn't know better. You can't move forward while holding yourself hostage to your past. Let go. Learn. Evolve. The past was a classroom, not a prison. Take the lesson and leave the guilt behind. The future belongs to the ones who take responsibility for their energy. To those who stop blaming the world and start becoming the change they seek. To those who choose purpose over pity, consistency over comfort, faith over fear. You owe it to you to be one of them. You have one life. One shot. One name that will echo after you're gone. Don't waste it living small. Don't dim your light because others can't handle your shine. Stand tall in your truth. Speak your dreams into existence. Move like you belong, because you do. You've earned your place here. You owe it to you to believe again. To dream again. To rise again. Every breath you take is proof that your story isn't over. The world hasn't seen your best yet. The mirror isn't your reminder of what's wrong, it's your invitation to start again. And when you do, the reflection looking back at you will finally smile, not because everything's perfect, but because you kept your promise. Because you finally understood what those words mean. You owe it to you. The grind doesn't start when you're motivated. The grind starts when you're tired, uninspired, and still choose to move forward. That's where champions are made, not in moments of hype, but in moments of honesty. You owe it to you to show up when nobody's clapping. Because that's when discipline is built. Motivation gets you started, discipline keeps you growing. Every person you admire today once stood exactly where you are, uncertain, scared, questioning everything. The difference? They moved anyway. They acted through doubt, through fear, through confusion. They didn't wait to feel ready. They created readiness through repetition. You owe it to you to stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start where you are, with what you have, and trust that clarity will come through action. You see, success isn't about speed, it's about stamina. Anyone can start strong. Few can stay steady when progress slows. The world rewards consistency, not bursts of energy. When you keep showing up, the universe takes notice. Every act of persistence adds up. Every small effort compounds. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary, not through luck, but through loyalty to their purpose. The truth is, there will be days when quitting feels logical. When your heart says yes but life screams no. When you wonder if it's all worth it. In those moments, remind yourself why you began. Remember that you're not just building results, you're building character. The pain you endure today becomes the strength you stand on tomorrow. You owe it to you to endure, because endurance is the bridge between struggle and success. When life tests you, don't ask why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Pain is a professor, and every hardship carries a lesson. Sometimes it's teaching you patience. Sometimes it's teaching you resilience. And sometimes, it is the hardest part of the journey isn't the work, it's the loneliness. The long nights when nobody understands what you're chasing. The moments when your vision feels too big for your surroundings. But remember, isolation isn't punishment. It's preparation. The silence is where you learn who you truly are. You owe it to you to trust the process, even when it's quiet. Every time you choose to keep going, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted with your dreams. That's power. Because self-trust is the foundation of freedom. When you trust yourself, opinions lose control. Doubt loses power. You stop needing validation from anyone else. You realize that your worth was never up for debate, it was only waiting for recognition, and recognition begins with gratitude. Gratitude for the journey, not just the destination. Gratitude for the failures that taught you humility. Gratitude for the small wins that no one saw but you. Gratitude transforms struggle into strength. When you shift from complaining to appreciating, life starts moving in your favor. You owe it to you to practice gratitude daily, it's the fuel that keeps your fire pure. Don't chase shortcuts. Don't worship speed. Slow growth builds strong roots. The ones who rise too fast often fall even faster. Build something that lasts. Something real. When you move with integrity, your success becomes untouchable. Let your work speak louder than your words. Let your results make the noise. You owe it to you to be proud of the work nobody sees. The long nights, the quiet sacrifices, the unseen effort, that's where your legacy is born. Success isn't built in the spotlight, it's built in solitude. You don't grow by showing off. You grow by showing up. Consistently. Relentlessly. Silently. Understand this: life will not give you what you want, it will give you what you earn. You don't attract success by wishing for it, you attract it by becoming the person who deserves it. And that means doing the hard things, the unglamorous work, the uncomfortable conversations, the disciplined choices. You owe it to you to do the hard things, because easy never made anyone extraordinary. People will doubt you. They'll question your motives, your timing, your dreams. Let them. You're not here to convince them, you're here to convert your potential into proof. Every doubt they throw is another reason to stay consistent. The best revenge is not anger, it's results. Stay quiet, work hard, and let time tell your story. You owe it to you to stop chasing validation and start chasing vision. Your dream doesn't need everyone's understanding, it just needs your commitment. You weren't born to fit in, you were born to stand out. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop editing your ambition to match someone else's expectations. This is your story. Own it. Live it loudly. There will be seasons when progress feels invisible. When you're working hard and seeing no results. But that's not failure, that's incubation. The roots grow before the flowers bloom. You owe it to you to stay planted, to keep watering your purpose even when the soil feels dry. Growth is happening, even if you can't see it yet. Don't underestimate the power of consistency. One workout. One page. One decision. One habit repeated daily, that's how transformation begins. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is closed by discipline, not dreams. You owe it to you to build habits that honor your goals. And remember, not everyone will celebrate your growth. Some people only loved you when you were smaller. When you start expanding, they'll feel threatened. That's not your problem. Don't dim your light to make others comfortable in their shadows. Keep shining. The right people will adjust to your brightness. You owe it to you to walk away from anything that drains your peace. Not every fight deserves your energy. Protect your focus like it's your future, because it is. Guard your goals. Respect your rest. You're not lazy for slowing down, you're wise for preserving your strength. Every day is a new chance to prove to yourself that you can do hard things. That you can rise above the noise, the doubt, the fear. The difference between winners and quitters isn't talent, it's tenacity. You owe it to you to be relentless. To be the person who doesn't stop when it's hard, but when it's done. Faith is your compass. Even when you can't see the path, trust the process. You don't need to understand everything to keep moving. Sometimes your only job is to keep walking in the dark until the light finds you. And it will. It always does. Because purpose never hides from persistence. You owe it to you to build something that outlives you. To make choices that your future self will thank you for. To turn every scar into a story of strength. Don't run from your pain, refine it. Don't suppress your struggle, study it. Your wounds are not weaknesses, they're wisdom in disguise. In the end, it's not about how fast you climbed, but how true you stayed. Not how many people noticed, but how deeply you grew. You owe it to you to keep your heart pure while your hands work. To stay kind, humble, and hungry all at once. Because success without character is failure in disguise. And when the world tests you, when the pressure rises and everything feels heavy, remember that diamonds are made in darkness. Keep your faith. Keep your focus. Keep your fire. You owe it to you to finish what you started. You owe it to you to make 2025 the year you stopped talking about change and became it. You've made it this far because something inside you refused to die when everything else fell apart. That quiet fire? That's your power. Protect it. Feed it. The world will try to smother it with distraction, comparison, fear. Don't let it. The moment you start defending your peace, you start defining your power. You owe it to you to stand guard at the gates of your mind. Mindset isn't magic, it's muscle. You build it through repetition. Every time you choose faith over doubt, gratitude over complaint, action over hesitation, you strengthen it. People think mental strength means you never break. It doesn't. It means you learn how to bend without snapping. It means you've trained your thoughts to find purpose even in pain. You'll never control everything around you, but you can control what happens within you. Your reactions shape your reality. Life will throw storms, losses, and noise your way, but your peace is your choice. You owe it to you to respond, not react. To pause before you speak. To breathe before you break. That pause, that's where power lives. Some days you'll wake up on fire. Some days you'll barely have a spark. On both days, show up. Because mastery isn't about feeling ready, it's about being reliable. The person who wins isn't the one who's always motivated, it's the one who's consistent when motivation disappears. You owe it to you to be that person, the one who keeps going, not because it's easy, but because it's right. Emotional resilience isn't built through comfort. It's forged through chaos. You learn patience when life makes you wait. You learn faith when you can't see a way. You learn strength when you've got no choice but to be strong. Every obstacle that tried to break you was secretly building you. You owe it to you to see the beauty in that process. When everything around you feels uncertain, anchor yourself to values that don't shift: discipline, integrity, gratitude, humility. These are your constants. Hold on to them when the world tries to twist your compass. It's easy to stay grounded when life is kind. The test is staying grounded when it's not. You owe it to you to remain solid even when everything else shakes. Stop giving temporary emotions permanent power. Anger fades. Fear fades. Regret fades. But the decisions you make while consumed by them? They linger. Learn to sit with your emotions without letting them steer the ship. Feel them. Understand them. Then act with wisdom, not impulse. That's emotional maturity. That's growth. That's self-control, the highest form of self-respect. You owe it to you to stop running from pain. Pain is a messenger, it shows you what needs healing. The more you numb it, the louder it becomes. Face it. Feel it. Free it. Healing isn't weakness, it's wisdom. When you confront your wounds, you stop bleeding on people who didn't cut you. You owe it to you to break those cycles, to end what hurt you, and to start what heals you. Your mindset will determine how far you go in 2025 and beyond. The world will always have chaos, negativity, and noise. But inside your mind, you can build silence, focus, and clarity. Feed your focus. Starve your distractions. The more you align your energy, the more unstoppable you become. You owe it to you to create an inner world that's stronger than the outer one. The truth is, your thoughts create your future. Every time you say "I can't," your mind starts collecting evidence to prove it. Every time you say "I will," your energy shifts to make it possible. Words are spells. Speak life into your goals. Affirm your growth. Declare your direction. You owe it to you to stop speaking fear and start speaking faith. Stop calling it a dream and start calling it a plan. Dreams inspire, plans execute. Write it down. Break it into steps. Stay accountable. Consistency is boring, but it's how miracles are built. Don't chase motivation, chase momentum. Even the smallest action can create it. Momentum doesn't care how small your start is, it just cares that you start. You owe it to you to keep your word to yourself. Every time you set a goal and don't follow through, you teach your mind that your promises don't matter. But every time you follow through, no matter how small, you build trust. That self-trust is sacred. It's the foundation of unshakable confidence. Keep your word like your future depends on it, because it does. Life will test that trust. It'll give you days when nothing goes your way. When people misunderstand you. When plans fall apart. When effort meets silence. But remember, rejection is direction. Delays are protection. Every closed door redirects you to something designed for your growth. You owe it to you to trust the detours as much as the destinations. When things fall apart, don't crumble, construct. Use the rubble to rebuild. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every legend you know has failed more times than they've succeeded. The only difference is they learned. They adjusted. They persisted. You owe it to you to keep learning from every loss until nothing can stop your evolution. You can't control how people treat you, but you can control what you allow. Boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. They don't keep people out, they keep your peace in. You owe it to you to say no when your soul says no. To walk away when something costs your sanity. Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's self-respect in action. Resilience isn't about avoiding breakdowns. It's about bouncing back faster each time. You'll still fall. You'll still doubt. You'll still struggle. But now you recover quicker, wiser, stronger. That's progress. You owe it to you to celebrate that progress, even when it's quiet. 2025 isn't about chasing perfection, it's about building power. The power to remain calm in chaos. To stay kind in cruelty. To stay focused in noise. To stay faithful in uncertainty. That's real mastery. Not control over life, but control over your response to it. You owe it to you to practice that mastery every single day. You are not what happened to you, you are what you choose to become. Let go of the old story. The one that says you're not enough, too late, too broken. Rewrite it. Every morning you wake up, you have a blank page. Don't waste it repeating the same paragraph. You owe it to you to write a story worth reading. You've already survived 100% of your worst days. You've overcome things you thought would destroy you. That's proof of strength. Don't forget it when life tests you again. Remember what you've endured. Remember what you're made of. You owe it to you to walk like you've already earned your place here, because you have. Every storm passes. Every night ends. Every wound heals. The question isn't whether you'll make it through, it's who you'll be when you do. You owe it to you to emerge wiser, not bitter. To use pain as polish, not poison. To let hardship refine your soul instead of harden your heart. The most powerful thing you can do is believe again. Believe in your capacity to grow. Believe that new beginnings can rise from broken places. Believe that the future still holds light for you. Faith isn't naive, it's necessary. It's the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. You owe it to you to walk across that bridge. And when fear whispers, remind it who you are. You've been through too much to doubt yourself now. Stand tall. Breathe deep. Keep your eyes on the horizon. You owe it to you to see this journey through, not for applause, not for validation, but because your purpose deserves completion. You owe it to you to protect your peace, master your mindset, and keep your faith steady. The battle isn't out there, it's in here, in your thoughts, your choices, your discipline. Win that, and everything else falls into place. Purpose isn't found in a book, a post, or a quote. It's revealed through movement. You discover it when you start doing, when you give, when you serve, when you fail and try again. You owe it to you to stop searching for meaning and start creating it. Purpose doesn't come to the one who waits, it comes to the one who works. Every moment of your life has been pointing you somewhere. The heartbreaks, the jobs that didn't fit, the friendships that faded, all of it shaped your calling. Your pain has fingerprints of purpose all over it. You owe it to you to look back with understanding, not resentment, and to see how every detour built your direction. When you stop chasing other people's definitions of success, you start living your own. The world sells you the idea that purpose is popularity, money, fame. But purpose is quieter than that. It's in the morning when you help someone smile. It's in the night when you keep a promise no one will ever know about. It's in the peace that comes from alignment. You owe it to you to live aligned, not approved. Authenticity is the highest form of rebellion in 2025. The world rewards imitation, but legacy rewards originality. Don't dilute yourself to blend in. Don't shrink yourself to fit someone else's frame. You owe it to you to show up as the unfiltered, unedited version of who you are. Because when you hide your truth, you rob the world of what only you can give. Being real will cost you. You'll lose people who preferred the version of you that didn't challenge them. You'll lose comfort, applause, maybe even relationships. But you'll gain peace, and peace is priceless. You owe it to you to choose peace over popularity every single time. Stop worrying about being understood, start focusing on being undeniable. Let your work, your consistency, your integrity speak for you. The loudest person in the room isn't the most powerful, the one who moves in silence and delivers results is. You owe it to you to be that person. Legacy isn't what you leave when you die, it's what you live while you're here. It's how you make people feel. It's the footprints you leave in conversations, in kindness, in courage. You owe it to you to make your days count, not just your years. Every day is a deposit into the bank of legacy. Don't confuse fame with impact. Fame fades when attention shifts. Impact echoes long after you're gone. You build impact by living with intention, by making choices that reflect your values, not your vanity. You owe it to you to measure success by significance, not status. Purpose asks you to serve something larger than your ego. Ego wants to impress, purpose wants to improve. Ego screams for recognition, purpose whispers for contribution. You owe it to you to listen to the whisper. That's where fulfillment lives. 2025 will tempt you to compare constantly, to measure your progress against someone else's highlight reel. Resist it. Comparison steals your joy and replaces it with envy. The only person you need to compete with is the one you were yesterday. You owe it to you to celebrate your small wins, to clap for yourself in silence, to keep building when nobody notices. Authenticity is a daily decision. Every morning, the world offers you two paths, pretend or present. Pretend, and you'll be accepted. Present, and you'll be fulfilled. Pretend, and you'll gain followers. Present, and you'll gain freedom. Choose freedom. You owe it to you to live a life that feels honest, not staged. The hardest truth about purpose is this: it often requires you to walk alone for a while. Your calling will confuse those who aren't meant to understand it. They'll question your moves, doubt your vision, laugh at your dreams, and that's okay. They can't see what you see. You owe it to you to walk your path even when it's lonely. The more authentic you become, the smaller your circle gets, but the stronger it becomes. Real recognizes real. When you operate from truth, you attract truth. You don't have to chase people, your energy will choose them for you. Protect that energy. Not everyone deserves access to your peace. Purpose is not a destination, it's a direction. It's the compass, not the map. Don't get paralyzed trying to find the perfect route. Just move. Each step teaches you something new about yourself. You owe it to you to stay curious, to stay learning, to stay humble enough to evolve. Humility doesn't mean thinking less of yourself, it means thinking of yourself less. Serve others, but don't lose yourself. Give, but don't bleed. Love, but don't forget boundaries. The healthiest love starts with self-respect. You owe it to you to keep that balance. When you operate from purpose, work stops feeling like work, it becomes worship. You start treating your craft as a gift, not a chore. You pour passion into the ordinary until it becomes extraordinary. You owe it to you to bring excellence to everything you do, no matter how small. Legacy is built on moments that don't make headlines. It's built when you do the right thing even when it's inconvenient. It's built when you choose character over comfort. It's built when you show kindness to someone who can't repay you. You owe it to you to live in such a way that people feel lighter after crossing your path. Never underestimate the influence of authenticity. When you live honestly, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage to be real creates a ripple effect that can shift lives. You owe it to you to be that ripple. Remember, life isn't about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. You're not a puzzle waiting to be solved, you're a masterpiece in progress. Every season paints a new layer. Every failure adds depth. Every triumph adds color. You owe it to you to keep painting. Purpose will demand discipline. It will test your patience. It will ask you to sacrifice comfort for calling. But nothing compares to the fulfillment of waking up knowing you're doing what you were made to do. You owe it to you to chase that feeling, to live that truth. And when doubts creep in, and they will remind yourself that destiny doesn't demand perfection, only persistence. Keep walking, even when you can't see the whole path. Keep believing, even when the evidence is missing. Faith fills the gap between vision and reality. You owe it to you to keep that faith alive. Legacy is not measured by wealth but by worth, the worth of your actions, your integrity, your love. The worth of the stories people tell about you when you're not in the room. Live today with tomorrow's story in mind. You owe it to you to build a name that means something deeper than fame. At the end of every day, ask yourself one question: did I move with purpose, or just momentum? Momentum can be meaningless if it's directionless. Purpose gives your motion meaning. You owe it to you to make sure every step counts. Because one day, the noise will fade. The crowds will move on. The world will forget the metrics, the likes, the numbers. What remains is how you made people feel, how you treated yourself, and how bravely you lived your truth. That's legacy. That's what you're here to build. You owe it to you to live so fully that your name becomes a synonym for hope. So honestly that your story becomes a guide for someone else's healing. So passionately that when people speak of you, they say, they lived. Not survived, lived. Every sunrise whispers the same truth: you still have time. Time to rewrite your story. Time to rebuild your strength. Time to rise again. You owe it to you to make the most of that time. Because time is the one currency you'll never get back. You can lose money, rebuild it. You can lose love, rediscover it. But you can't buy back a single second once it's spent. Every minute is a vote for the life you want or the one you're settling for. You owe it to you to stop settling. The people who changed the world weren't the smartest or the richest. They were the ones who refused to live halfway. They bet everything on becoming who they knew they could be. And that's what 2025 demands: commitment, not comfort. Movement, not excuses. Discipline, not drama. No one is coming to save you. That's the hardest truth and the most liberating one. Because once you accept that, you realize you are the rescue. You are the miracle. You are the answer you've been waiting for. You owe it to you to stop waiting for signs and start becoming one. Every storm in your life was training. The setbacks, the heartbreaks, the lonely nights, all of it built muscle you can't see but will one day depend on. You owe it to you to thank your past instead of resenting it. Every scar is proof that you healed. Every failure is proof that you tried. There will be moments when the road feels endless. When the climb feels impossible. When your mind whispers, it's not worth it. But that's when you remember, growth never feels good while it's happening. The discomfort you feel is your old self breaking to make room for your new one. You owe it to you to endure that process. In the end, no one remembers the excuses. They remember the effort. They remember who showed up when it mattered. They remember who kept standing when everything tried to knock them down. You owe it to you to be remembered for that. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect never comes. It's an illusion designed to keep you stuck. Start now, with what you have, where you are. Because momentum is built from motion, not magic. You owe it to you to take the first step, even if it's messy, even if it's small. Every dream will demand a version of you that doesn't yet exist. So, you'll have to evolve. You'll have to leave behind your old habits, your old fears, your old identity. That's the price of transformation. And you owe it to you to pay that price willingly. The best investment you'll ever make isn't in stocks or property, it's in discipline. Discipline will take you places motivation can't. Motivation fades. Discipline endures. You owe it to you to build that muscle. Because the days you don't feel like it are the days that define you. You will outgrow people. You will outgrow places. You will outgrow your old self. Don't mourn the loss, celebrate the progress. Outgrowing is proof of becoming. You owe it to you to keep expanding, even when it's uncomfortable. Be patient with the process but relentless in pursuit. The seed doesn't bloom overnight, but it still grows beneath the soil. Just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it's not happening. You owe it to you to keep watering your dream in silence until it speaks for itself. The future doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the prepared. To the consistent. To the ones who show up when no one's watching. You owe it to you to become that person, the one who delivers quietly and lets results do the talking. 2025 is not your test, it's your opportunity. It's your stage to show the world what resilience looks like. It's your chapter to prove that the past didn't define you, it refined you. You owe it to you to rise, not as the person you were, but as the person you were always meant to be. And when fear whispers that you're not ready, answer with truth, you were built for this. Every challenge prepared you. Every heartbreak strengthened you. Every failure refined you. You owe it to you to believe that the timing is now. Stop chasing validation. You don't need permission to evolve. The world doesn't get to approve your purpose. They don't have to understand your calling. You owe it to you to walk boldly even when the crowd goes quiet. People may doubt your path, but they'll never forget your perseverance. Keep going until your story becomes the evidence that persistence works. Keep showing up until your name becomes a synonym for strength. You owe it to you to keep the promise you made to yourself, the one where you said, "I'll never give up." Don't measure your worth by what you've achieved. Measure it by what you've overcome. Success isn't about what you gain, it's about what you grow through. You owe it to you to grow taller than your fears, louder than your doubts, stronger than your excuses. There will be days when you question everything, your vision, your purpose, your worth. On those days, remember why you started. Remember the fire that woke you up when nobody believed. Remember the version of you that prayed for the life you have now. You owe it to you to honor their fight. Forgive yourself. For the mistakes. For the wasted time. For the moments you forgot your value. You owe it to you to let go of guilt and start again, lighter. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's freedom. And freedom is the fuel of greatness. Be kind, but stay fierce. Be humble, but stay hungry. Be grateful, but never complacent. Balance is the art of maturity. You owe it to you to master it. Your story doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. The cracks are what let the light in. The struggles are what make the story worth telling. You owe it to you to embrace every chapter, even the messy ones. Someday, someone will watch you and whisper, "Because they didn't quit, I didn't either." That's impact. That's legacy. That's purpose fulfilled. You owe it to you to live a life that inspires someone else to live theirs. And when you finally reach the mountaintop, don't forget to look back. Don't forget the climb. Don't forget the version of you that refused to give up. Thank them. Honor them. Because they carried you here. When your time comes to rest your head one final time, may you smile knowing you lived full, gave all, and held nothing back. Because that's what this was all about. Not perfection. Not applause. But presence. Truth. Purpose. Love. You owe it to you to live loud enough that silence can still hear you after you're gone. So get up. Stand tall. Take a breath. The future is waiting. And it's yours. You owe it to you.